All right, so I decided I want to shoot the intro to this one again because I got a haircut. You can see a lot more of my scalp now. But also, we're going to talk about something very important. And ladies, I might disappoint some of your thoughts here. If I do, just leave me a nasty comment down below. We're going to talk about the size of your wood and the length of your wood and why it does matter. Guys, I'm here for you either to break your hearts or to give you something to go home, throw the old lady against the wall with. Anyway, let's set up and talk about the real reason why you guys are here. Well, let's go to this intro and come right back.
All right, so first off, let's talk about why these really matter on size when you're going small with airbrushing. These two are rather large for what we're going to be doing. I primarily mix my paints in smaller batches, so I'll use these little condiment cups that they hold, I don't remember, just a couple ounces. And I like them because I have a lid on them, so I can store my paint for a little bit longer. I have these medicine cups that they go up to 1 fluid ounce, or however you want to measure, which these come in handy when you're going to mix different paints. If you're mixing colors, you can kind of go by some of your measurements, if it's a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2. Also, when you go with your reducer, you can kind of figure that out too. I have some other ones that are, I think these are 1 ounce too. They may be just a little bit smaller, and these have a lid on them as well for storing, but also for mixing, which I'm going to show you how I do my mixing of my paint. So I'll show you the two main ways that I mix my paints, and let's get that set up and we'll be right back. Okay, so here what I have is two different types of agitators or mixing units that work pretty well for mixing paint. This is an older one. It's a Robart. It's a little bit louder. It's good for your smaller, like your 2 ounce or 1 ounce paints. These will fit, but they're not quite. This little rubber is going to stretch a little bit. And guys, I know a lot of you want to brag, but very few of you probably going to stretch the rubber. Now, I like this one. It's a new to me. It's like a test tube shaker. A lot of your tattoo artists, I've noticed, have been going to this too. Comes in really handy and mixes very well. So I'll show you the two different ones. So you just put this in here like this. Hook that little belt up, hit this button, and it starts shaking. So it's going to take a little while to shake your paint up. Sometimes I like to get started, just shake it like this. But you'll put it on there for a couple minutes to shake it up. These here I like because you just kind of put it in there. I don't know if you guys can see the vibration there. I'll put it in there, I'll flip them upside down. It doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. What you will notice is you get a lot of vibrations in your hand. You start feeling it, but I'll get these and rotate them around. Once I get them good and mixed up, I'll add them to my cups and how I'm going to mix them. So let me demonstrate the different ways that I'll actually mix my paints, and we'll do two quick different styles where I'll mix. Let's see, we'll do one in here, and then we'll do one in here because I can show you the two different methods of mixing. Okay, so we're gonna mix up just a basic flesh tone here. All right, second color. And we'll do our third color. All right, mix in a little bit of reducer. In this case, I'm just using distilled water. Probably put in a little bit too much. And let's mix this up. You can see that it's kind of a chocolatey color almost. This is actually good for like a darker tone, but that's how I would mix this one up. So you'll use one of your little coffee stirrers, which these things are pretty awesome. You can get a couple hundred of them from Amazon and just save them. Put them in a little storage container. Then you have them ready. Then when I'm done, I'll wipe them, because sometimes I'll reuse these things like multiple times. So now we'll go to this one. I'll show you this one. We'll do the same thing. Mix up the same color. And for demo purposes, this flesh tone's not going to actually be like too sorry, I was counting. It's not going to be quite to what I would normally do it. I'm just kind of speeding up the process here. And then my sepia starts coming out a little bit fast. Again, put in some reducer. Most of the time I do use distilled water, and then I will use 4011, Createx 4011 reducer, which I have it right here. And for a nice airbrush cleaner, I'll do a 50-50% 4011 and distilled water. So now that I got distilled water in there, I'll put this in here. We're going to shake this up. And it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I put this up here. You can kind of see that fluid in there, that liquid vibrating in there. And open that lid. And there we go. My two colors. This one actually looks a little more red right there. But like I said, my mixing is not 100% on point. Again, so these things you can all get on Amazon. If you turn you guys back around real quick and we'll go back to talking normal. All right, so there you have it. Pretty quick, simple, easy, just kind of demonstration on how I mix my paints. The only difference I would do is if I'm using a urethane base paint, I will use my reducer, which there's some right here, which I'm using Orion's paint, Orion's Automotive Finishing, their atomizer airbrush paint, which I love it. It works great. For the stuff that I've been doing lately, when I'm getting into the realism on, sorry, I keep turning around. When I get into the realism, like my portraits and stuff, I'm using Createx illustration colors, just because I find these easier to get my mixes down for my flesh tones. Urethane's a little bit different to get the flesh tones and to get like texture. I'm liking the water base because I use my erasing techniques and my scratching techniques, which I can go over in another video. One quick last thing is when I mix this stuff, when I want to go into the airbrush, just got a little pipette, fill this up, and then You see, I can just drop a couple drops. I don't know if y'all can see the drops dropping, but I just do a couple drops, put in my airbrush, go to town, and it's pretty simple cleanup. I can just put, when I use the ones with the lids, I can just put the lids on it and store it for a couple weeks or throw them out. But I was using these a lot, but I'm mixing like smaller batches of paint when I do things like, even like this right here. So that's done with the Createx illustration and using like scratching techniques and erasing techniques to try to get that realism. You could probably get way more realistic looking. I'm looking at my bald spot. You can get way more realistic looking than that. And yes, you can do scratching techniques and erasing techniques on hard surfaces like skateboards, aluminum panels, and cars. But guys, I figured with this video, I know I'm dragging it out now here at the end, but wanted to try to get some more technical stuff in, maybe for those that are just beginning and have some questions about what people are using to mix their paints. How simple is it? You don't have to spend the money on the electric mixers. You can just use these coffee stirrers. You can use your the small little condiment containers, whatever they're called. Again, you can go on Amazon and look them up. Excuse me, you can go on Amazon and find them. If you need help finding them, shoot me a message and I can show you what I use. I'm kind of lazy right now about the links. But anyway, I hope this quick video kind of explains some things to you and helps those out, like I said, that are just beginning. I'm hoping to get a lot more videos done in 2024 to show more of my work. I think now I'm finally getting into the right frame of mind where I can get back into custom side of things and not focus so much on the daily stuff. It's been just wearing me out, but I will make a comeback, or I don't really know if you call it a comeback, but I will be doing my best to put out more content and hopefully more educational content. So until next time, rock on.